Yo guys, what's up? Ben Ababi here and welcome back to the 10,000 subscriber special, and today is going to be a live play and explain of my regular games of 1KNL and 2KNL over on GG, sharing all of my thoughts, maybe some reads, and just generally every small pot that I play. I'm going to be playing for about 30 minutes, but before we jump on into the action, I just want to say a huge thank you to everyone that has watched and subbed over the past year. It has been such a fun journey for me, and I'm really looking forward to making more videos for you guys. On that note, I have a couple of absolute bangers coming out in the next couple of months, so if you're not subscribed to the channel already, please do consider doing so. I would really appreciate it. Anyway, that's enough of that. Let's jump on into today's action. I'm going to be playing 30 minutes, as I said, and I will check in with you guys at the end of the video with some final thoughts. Hope you enjoy. Okay, so straight into the action. I've got 5 tables, and we've got ace king of clubs on the bottom middle table, and we've opened. I'm going to check back this flop. This is a board I'm going to be using half pot on and checks, and I'm mostly going to check. Like a hand like this, I'm always going to check it. See a 4 of diamonds on the turn, and we do face 2/3 pot. I think the bluffs are very, very intuitive here from our position. A load of 5s, a load of 7s. A hand is probably kind of indifferent already, but this player is kind of like on the give up side, so I think I'm going to call. 10 of clubs on the river, I think it's very conceivable bluffs get followed through on with the 5 and the 7 region here. So I'm probably just going to fold here. I think we've got many other better hands to call, namely just like pairs. Don't need to really call any ace highs on the river, even if in theory you might have to. And just check back. Gives up 7-3 of diamonds, super interesting. It's clearly not a give up. And actually this is a really good example that calling the turn, maybe it's a mix in theory, is like over-realizing massively. Top left, king, jack. I open pre-flop. This is button versus big blind. C-bet 1/3. Gonna check the turn, I think. Mostly a bet, I think, but I think I'm gonna check on this occasion. And we do see a deuce clubs. So I'm playing about 5 tables, and I will talk a little bit more about like thought process and that kind of stuff in just a moment. King jack here, just gonna be using 2/3 pot. Nothing else to do here. I don't think I want to split my sizes on the river here. I'm just gonna go with the 2/3 pot. My hands here that want to value bet are just so much one pair, obviously 2 pair with the deuces, like pocket 6s, 3 pocket queens, and like a bunch of kings. There are a couple of hands I want to use an overbet with, like specifically like pocket aces and maybe ace king, but it's just not a great enough portion of my range for me to start developing those. I'm just going to go with 2/3 pot sizing and hope we don't face a check raise actually. Although I think in this node I probably would just call. I think it's hard to find the appropriate bluffs. Pocket 4s, fair enough. Seems like a very well played hand from them. Nothing else they can really do. So I guess let me just talk a little bit about my approach as a poker player in 2025. I basically use theory as my baseline for every decision, and then I deviate accordingly. So I'm not just playing theory by any means, or I'm not able to because obviously I'm not a robot, but I'm not trying to play theory. I'm just always trying to go, what does theory want to do here? And then where do I want to deviate from that point? 9-8 deuce here, so I think this is going to be traditionally maybe a half pot or 2/3 board. I use half pot from MP versus the big blind. I'm going to bucket this one into a bet. I think I can start checking some of my other nut flush draws, maybe my very high nut flush draws or something like that. So yeah, I'm just going to bet this one every time. King, queen, top, middle. I'm going to RNG 25% raises here, and we've hit it this time. The reason I'm RNGing with the king, queen is because I just think it is an indifferent hand between calling and raising, so I am going to be raising it sometimes. 3 of spades. See, I think you want to be betting spades before hearts here. The reason for that is because you want them to fold some of the low hearts, but for all intents and purposes, you can just bucket and bet most of your flush draws for this big sizing, and that's what I'm going to do now. The reason I say you're probably meant to use your spades before your hearts is very like nuanced kind of theory, I guess, which is when they have called the flop, they are just more likely to have flush draws than they are to have the spades. And obviously when we have spades, we get them to fold some of their low flush draw / high equity hands. So it just performs a little bit better, but I wouldn't get too bogged down in that, but that's just like my understanding of the spot. Bottom right, we've got ace 10 offsuit. We've got a limp from a recreational. Dark green tag is recreational on probation. So I'm just going to ISO. Get called out the small blind from Ben Sims. See king 7 deuce. Hand makes a very intuitive check. However, it's a super dry board, and I do think we get a lot of folds. The reg and the small blind can't really do a lot here, so I'm going to bet. This is kind of one of the hands in my range that I do want to check, to be honest with you, like from like an exploitative point of view. C7 on the turn. Now we're going to just be checking our hand and reevaluating on the river. No value to be had. Don't really see many hands folding that we lose to, i.e. pocket threes or whatever. So I'm going to go with a check. If we want to start blasting some hands, we probably can, but just not this one. Pocket queens top middle. We open and we get led into for 1/3 pot. Definitely doing some raising here, but this player has shown to be on the slightly tighter side, so I'm going to call. Ace 10 now we just showdown and hopefully win versus the flush draw. Lose to a deuce. That seems very reasonable to me. Top middle, we do see an 8 on the turn. Expecting to see continued barreling here some of the time. We do see it this time for overbet. It's pretty unideal already, but kind of like the first hand with the ace king, the bluffs are quite visible here. Just a bunch of 5s, a bunch of 7s, so I think we just call. Very bad river. Obviously now 5s have filled up. Obviously, well, I would assume that like more 7x gets bluffed than 5x on the turn because it's just a better straight draw. It gets cooler less of the time when it does hit a straight, but I do still think 5s are going to feature in the range a decent amount. So versus bet, I think given the river, I have other hands that are better calls here. Any hand with a pair on the board is a way better call in my opinion here. So yeah, I think I'm just going to fold the river if I face bet. Unless we face block, and then I'll probably call just because of pot odds and difficulty of regulating frequencies. Top right, I'm just going to call a 3-bet with pocket 4s here, small-ish 3-bet, and pocket queens versus the 2/3 pot. Yeah, I think my decision is, oh, sorry, the pocket 4s, I'm just going to call. I think I'm just going to fold the queens. Yeah. Interesting hand. Let me know what you think about that one. We see A7-3 rainbow. We go with the pocket 4s. Definitely going to be continuing versus the C-bet. I'm expecting to see very small bets if we do see it. Expecting to see smaller bets than this, but nothing else to do but call here. One thing also I try to do, just so you know, is I am always trying to be balanced with my timing. So you'll see me kind of waiting until the bottom of the time bank here. And also just trying to... Now pocket 10s bottom right. Less important when I'm against recreationals, but yeah. So we do see a deuce on the turn. 5-4 now does get there, although we probably do raise most of our 5-4s on the flops. We don't really have them, but I guess our opponents aren't going to know that. The dark blue tag is also like weaker reg, as a general rule of thumb, just to let you know. Bottom right pocket 10s, we just bet 2/3 pot on the turn, pretty standard. River top right, we see the 8 of clubs. And I think once they tank check the turn, it's quite middling hands, like pocket pairs, some ace-x's. You know what? I think I'm going to go... Oh, I have to give up pocket 10s, bottom right, loose 10-7. I'm going to shove the pocket 4s. This seems really out of line because I don't think there's going to be an all-in sizing. I just think it's overfolded massively when we see the tank check on the turn. A bunch of like one-pair hands, some hands that wanted to bluff that decided not to. Obviously, like, we beat the bluffs, but we can't actually check call this river. I mean, we probably could. We could check shove as well. That might be a better line. But I think the range is a bit too kind of like middling there with the timing. So I think shoving my hand always is going to massively overperform there. Super interesting one and maybe contentious. Let me just think. I actually just think it's categorically good. And this is certainly a hand I probably shouldn't be showing on video, but here we are. Top middle, same player. We threw ace queen offsuit, standard stuff. And bottom left, I've just joined the table. We got a 6 straddle game, apparently. Ace queen just folded. We got a 6 straddle game, so I'm not sure what's going on, but I've just joined this table, so we'll probably have some fireworks over there. So yeah, going back to my approach, yeah, I kind of always use theory as my fundamental baseline. And then versus like red tags and orange tags, I am playing, let's just say, a bit more theory versus light blue tags, a little bit less theory versus dark blue tags, pretty exploitative, and then any color where it is brown, yellow, greens, pinks. I know it seems like a lot of notes. Those I'm all playing like hyper exploitatively and just throwing theory out of the window altogether and just kind of like live solving the spot, which obviously is the right thing to do. Bottom middle opening up with queen 10 of spades. Top right opening up with ace jack of clubs. Queen 10 just going to fold here versus the 3-bet. Ace queen bottom right opening it up here, getting called by recreational. Called by small blind, called by big blind as well. King f5, 2-tone, just going to be check folding this hand. Not enough going on. 4-way hand is pretty bad visibility. Bottom middle defending ace 6 of hearts, check and flop. And bottom right just going to be folding versus the half pot lead. Bottom middle pocket jacks, and top left defending 5-3 of hearts, whiffing the flop. Pocket jacks we see queen 9-8 with 2 spades. Mostly betting this flop, I think. Weaker player though. I'm going to... Yeah, Yeah, I'm going to check. I think we get a little bit more information when we check here versus a weaker opponent, so I'm going to check. King of the turn, I'm going to be using big bet check here. I think 2/3 or overbet is probably best here, and never bet in this hand. And then 5 river, I'm going to pure block the block 2/3. Yeah, this hand block. Do get called by Jack 8 offsuit, seems very well played. Top middle, we defend Queen 3 of diamonds versus the open. Just going to be check fold in the flop versus any bet. We do face big bet. We should fold. Bottom right, we've got limp from recreational. Our bottom left, we're going to be shoving ace queen offsuit in a second. Going to call the ace queen simply because this player hasn't shown any propensity to do anything other than play very nitty. And we see 8 deuce deuce. And also I want to go 3-way with a recreational in the cutoff. So I'm going to check. Ace queen off, just shoved it in, and we're going to see what happens. Face half pot on the 8 deuce deuce, and yeah, I think we just fold here. Poor visibility, 3-way. It's kind of close, it feels like, but I think folding is the right play here. Yeah. Bottom right, king queen offsuit. Going to be 3-betting if this recreation opens. Just raising into the big blind. Small blind has a decision. Is going to 3-bet. Okay, doesn't. Flop a gut shot. Jack 9-9. I'm just going to c-bet small here. Just seems like the right play to bet always with this hand. Got equity, got overs. Not going to get check raised enough. And yeah, I just think betting against recreationals often makes we do get raised. Definitely just going to call here. Nothing else to do here but call. Recreationals can just be spicing around. Although I've got to say I am a little bit afraid of the 4x raise here. It's not a very small raise, so I'm going to call. Jack on the turn. This should just be a great card for us. And actually, this is a card that recreational is going to hate even when they have a 9. So I definitely can see them having a 9. But I can just see them having like ace 5 backdoor flush draw or something like that. So yeah, I think just checking and trying to realize our equity is the right play. Opening pocket 8 top middle and rivering a straight here. And we face half pot. Guys, my general rule of thumb, when you see a recreational go half pot, you just call. You don't fold straights because they can just have like random hands. And they do have a boat, which does make a lot of sense, but yeah, still never folding this hand. King Jack top left, we defend 3-way. Gut shot. 7 spades, checking this hand, I think, choosing more high equity hands. Even a hand like Jack 10 is just infinitely better here with 2 straight draws. So yeah, you've got to be kind of selective here when you're going 3-way. Cutoff can also be still have good hands. Button can have some like reasonable amount of ace-x, definitely isn't stabbing them 3-way that much. And you just want to use more of your high equity draws when multi-way. So yeah, I'm just going to be check folding, I think. Yeah, can we raise? No, I don't think we can raise, so I'm just going to fold. I think raises on the turn here are going to be coming from like combos like 8x of spades, maybe even some 7-6 of hearts or something like that. So yeah, definitely not this combo. Also, having the king of clubs there, like, maybe seems like splitting hairs, but like blocking hands like king, queen, king 8, pocket kings, and also like a king 10, king jack of clubs, definitely kind of like are all really, really bad reasons to start bluffing your hand. So queen jack top middle, open this one up. Called by the button. See 10-7-5 rainbow, going to be range checking this board. I'm just going to fold this one down here. Going to RNG the ace 9, sometimes pre-flop 3-bet. This time we hit call. I'm going to check. 2 hearts on the turn. I think turn sizing here is going to be overbet. Use combos with a heart before this one. We're on the weaker side, so I'm going to actually, yeah, I'm going to overbet this one this time. This is really out of line, I'm not going to lie, and this is kind of what I'm talking about. Like, even though I kind of like think I know the theory here, I'm just going to deviate because I think it performs better. 10 of spades, interesting river. We do retain a bunch of good hands here. We're still going to want to value bet over pairs. We're going to have a bunch of 10s as well. Obviously, we're now kind of like targeting just hearts in the range. I'm probably meant to go 2/3 pot here, but I'm going to go with the small sizing because I'm just trying to clean up those hands. Obviously, we're going to get called here, like a decent amount. If we get called by 2 hearts, I'm going to be sad. Okay, we do get raised, so nothing else to do here but fold. This is a hyper exploitative hand, and I think it's okay to good. I think it's a very bad idea to post this in a video, but I'm being transparent in this video, so I'm going to keep it in. But yeah, this is super out of line. 9-7 of clubs, just going to open this one from the cutoff. It's kind of like bottom of opening range, 9-7 suited here for me. 10-8 middle, open this one up, and 9-7 we do get 3-bet, snap fold. Can't defend this hand, too weak. Obviously, also in high rake environments, you need to be a bit more careful about the hands you are continuing versus 3-bet. Ace king top left, we are now opening it up again, and we get 3-bet again. Mostly call, a bit of 4-bet, only like 30% 4-bet. We do not hit it. Remember, low is passive, so we're just going to call. after a bit of a tank, because obviously like want to be a bit balanced with our timings, as I mentioned before. 9-3-3 rainbow, expecting big bets here, half pot, 2/3 pot, something along those lines. Obviously you see, expecting to see checks here as well. Checks to us, definitely want to be betting a lot on this board. I think ace king makes a pretty good bet. I'm gonna, yeah, maybe I should block. I'm gonna RNG this one. Actually, no, I'm gonna check. I think I'm just gonna randomize this one by, obviously we don't know if they're gonna be c-betting an ace-3 suited, 3-betting an ace-3 suited pre-flop, but I'm just gonna use that as a way of randomizing, and I'm gonna bet some of my other combos here. Admittedly, when I don't have hearts, those are the kind of like the checks from out position. Ace king here, I'm definitely indifferent, for sure. I think I have to continue at least some of the time. I think if I had the ace of diamonds, I would just always fold, because those are the bluffs. I am going to call, reluctantly, I've got to add. Queen of clubs is such a bad river for our exact hand. It's an okay card for our range. We do river some top pair here from like queen 10, king queen, etc. King queen of diamonds I'm talking about. If we face shove here, unfortunately, we just have to fold. And honestly, on this river, I'm expecting to see a lot of shove. Yeah, nothing we can do in that spot. I think turn is very close. Top middle pocket tens. We'll talk about the ace king again in a moment when we have a bit of downtime. Pocket tens going to be 4-betting half the time and calling half the time, roughly. That's why I'm going to RNG it this time. Rolled low, call. Pure checking flop here and just check calling versus bets. Definitely not seeing a range bet on this board. Bottom left, I just opened this with 160 ante. I'm just not even going to get into this. Just like, it's just not even poker at this point. It's just weird. I'm doing a sweat and I'm playing some stupid 20, 40, 80 on another table. Top middle, pocket tens again. I think we just have a check now. Going to be choosing my lower combos, like pocket fives, maybe some 7-6, some 8-7, pocket fives, pocket sixes with a heart, for example, before this one. Jack of spades on the river. I think it's mostly a theory check. It's really interesting whether or not on a bluff here, though. I could shove the river, but I think I'm just, again, going to use some of my lower combos. So I'm going to check. I think checking is the standard play. I think like shoving or doing something else is maybe like AAA plus game, which I'm not really willing to find. He's got kings, makes a lot of sense, seems standard. Says nice hand. Maybe they think I should be pure bluff in the river. Certainly a consideration, but I think checking is going to be the standard option here. So yeah. 9-6 top left. We've got an open of 3x and we're just going to continue. Never 3-betting a hand like this. Not the hand class I want to choose. Flop second pair, going to be just continuing versus c-bet. Never raising this hand on the flop either, choosing a bunch of other combos, mainly ones with spades. So yeah, just going to be checking back. Pretty bad turn for us. Expecting to see, I guess you can see two things here. You can see blocks or you can see overbets. Or you can see checks, and very standard check on the turn for me. Let's just tank this one a little bit. You really want to be careful about your checks and like how quickly you do them because you don't want to be overexposed. Rivering trips, decent river. Very simple. Versus bet, we raise. Versus check, we bet. And the size I'm going to be using is going to be 2/3 pot when check to. Admittedly, I do have a lot of sixes. Okay, regardless, we do face the small bet size, and I'm just going to make the standard raise size. Bottom of my raising range here is going to be any ace. So I'm going to arrive with a bunch of aces. So yeah, I'm just going to use this 2/3 sizing. Do get snap call, which means we obviously win. And we get called by ace-8, super standard. Value catching versus all of my aces. You might say that because they don't ever win the pot versus my other aces, that they should just fold. There are just so many ace-x's that I'm going to be raising that you just have to be calling chops. Otherwise, you're getting supremely binned. Bottom right, king-queen, going to open this one up with the 2 recreationals in the blinds. Do very well, queen, 6. Just going to use a small bet sizing here. On a lot of boards, when I have value hands versus recreationals, I just size up. But on this very dry texture, I think small sizes are going to be best. We did get raised on the other one, the Jack 9-9. So like they do have some raises with some value hands, but haven't shown a propensity to raise bluffs either. So yeah, going with a small sizing is good. Queen Jack top right, I'm just going to call as well versus this 3-bet. Interestingly, bottom right, we face a lead now of 2/3 pot. This is telling me that this is probably going to be a queen a lot of time. I'm just going to raise, nothing else to do. 70% pot seems standard. Never really expected them to fold, I'm not going to lie to you. It's going to either be a draw, they ship it in. Do I want to snap? Yeah, they have worse queens, I call. Okay, queen and flush right makes a lot of sense. I'm going to quickly jump to top right. Well, I'll stay here for a second on king, queen. Top right, queen, jack. I think I want to play some bets on the turn. I don't actually know the bet sizing here, so I checked. I was a little bit overwhelmed by the action there, so I do decide to check queen, jack, top right. Queen 7, they want to run it once. Let's squeeze it out slowly. Could be... Oh, is that a boat? Oh, it's a chop. Okay, well, no spade. We'll take that. Queen Jack top right. Now we face the small sizing on the turn. I think pure raise our hand now. I think I actually should have bet the turn here. I'm going to recapture this now by raising. Pocket Jack's bottom right opening. Top middle, Queen 9 of clubs. Going to RNG a 3-bet. I think 75% of the time here. Back to top right. Yeah, maybe turn I should be going 2/3 or pot check and then building around queens and then like 5-4, ace-4, something like that. Long tank though. Absolutely horrific river. We lose to king 10. We lose to ace king. We lose to king jack. Which I think are all in the range here at frequency. We lose to aces. Obviously, we already lost to aces. I think we have a range check. We just basically shove a 4 here. And that's it. Because we don't have queens, we don't have jacks, we don't have aces. We have 5-4 and ace-4. So, do we want to go 10%? I think check. Check is definitely the player. Out of time bank as well. And I guess we fold. Like, where are the bluffs coming from here? Badoogie turn. Well, not Badoogie. Yeah, Badoogie turn. Bluffs don't exist. Yeah. Tens, middle, I'm going to call. See queen 9, 8, and we're going to check. We face 10% top right. I just call. I can't fold versus 10% pot. And we do run into aces. You know what? I think I've just made an error here. I snap called because it was 10% pot. This is really bad from me. And I'm going to hold my hands up to that. And we're going to come back to that in a moment. Top left, we're going to c-bet Jack 9 of clubs versus a recreational for half pot. Tens and facing half pot, we're going to check call versus half pot. It's unideal versus a tight player, but we have a gut shot and we even have potential to bluff our hand later on. Top left with Jack 9 of clubs, just going to go with the 2/3 pot sizing here with our flush draw as well. Do get snap called, and then we're probably going to bet the river, but with the pocket 10s now, I'm going to go with a very small sizing on the river. We may struggle to get called here by worse hands, but I just think this is the right sizing. And Jack 9, I'm going to exploitatively block in position on the river, trying to get a crying call from a 6, a flush draw, a 10 of X of diamonds, an ace 10 offsuit or something like that. Do get called by 10 of diamonds, luckily. Pocket 10s middle, we do get called by worse hand as well. I'm not a huge fan of my value bet with 10s on the river, but I think it's reasonable. Bottom right, ace 8 of diamonds. We do defend versus half pot from the big recreational. We see a woeful card, but a snap check. King of diamonds on the river. I think my hand is too thin to value bet. The reason I think it's too thin is because recreationals are going to snap check the turn with a bunch of hands that are better than mine because it's a scary card for them. So it's not a spot that strikes me as a spot where I can just go lead. I'm just going to... Versus 2/3 pot, I think I'm just going to call. I don't really give them enough value to bet like marginal hands. And we do block some 2-pair from like 8-7, 8-6, maybe even a pocket 8s or something like that. I don't think they're ever going to bet king queen. I'm just going to call. And we do run into king 8. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense and it's fair play to them. Pocket queens bottom middle. We open, we get a call from a recreational in the small and a squeeze from a tightish new player. I'm just going to rip this one in, I think. 4-bet kings and aces, shove ace king, shove queens, get called by jacks and 10s. I think is the right play. So yeah, I'm going to shove. Bottom right, we've got queens. Action is thick and fast. 3-bet the recreational, 9-5-4. Now, the recreational hasn't really shown much propensity to stab or bluff. So I'm just thinking that maybe I should just bucket this one. It is vulnerable. Let's just bucket this one into a 2/3 pot bet. Yeah, I think that's the right play. And we do get a fold. So this is a spot where we just want to be rushing money in with our value portion of the range. This is a board that's going to hit the recreational like fairly okay. The board is going to change a lot of the time on like a 6, a 7, an 8. Obviously an ace or a king gives us the worst hand a bunch of the time. So we just want to proceed with some caution by betting big. So king 7 of diamonds, bottom middle. I think mostly betting this flop, small sizing, but I think I want to check sometimes. The reason I want to check is because I think I over-realize versus this particular player as well. So I'm going to check. Kind of going back to what I said before, like the dark blue tags and the light blue tags, we can over-realize in a bunch of other lines other than just the betting line. So I think like checking some hands that I think are usually bet is a very reasonable approach if they don't stab enough. 6 of spades, this is interesting. So we expect in position to bet a bunch. Our sizing seems to be block on the turn here, and I'm not deviating from theory in this spot. I think having diamonds is very good here, and especially a diamond with like a king 7. I'm going to block. This seems a little bit funky, and the reason it seems funky is because why are we bluffing king high here? But it's like doubles up as like it's like a multi-exploit. We don't get give them an opportunity to bluff the turn versus us. And we also have an opportunity to make them fold just a bunch of equity that also can realize. So I think this is the right play. On the river, though, I'm definitely going to give up. Top left with the ace-4 double suits. I'm going to RNG this one 30% of the time. And I'm going to raise this time. I think having the double backdoor flush draw blockers, unblocking some of the folds from like random c-bets from king highs and jack highs, they're going to be range betting this board. I think this makes a really good raise. They do call, we see a 7 of clubs. I think our hand is forced here. I think we have to bluff this one every single time. And I'm going to use a pot sizing building around queen, jack. Queen, jack, maybe not queen, jack, king, queen, maybe actually. On the 10 specifically, I think we just have a give up now. With the ace of clubs, we just block too many of the hands we want out of position to fold. We need them to be folding ace 9 of clubs, ace deuce of clubs, ace jack of clubs, etc. So yeah, nothing else to do here but check. I think this is a well-played hand. It's fairly speculative, obviously, on the flop, but I think this hand is just one that gets raised. The ace 3, ace 4, even ace 5, I think does get raised some of the time. So yeah, I think this is well played. It's a very interesting spot because I also think we get massively overfolded on the flop and on the turn, so it probably makes the hand pure on the turn at least, but probably maybe even pure on the flop. I think it just overperforms. Bottom middle ace 10 offsuit, we open pre-flop, it goes check check on the flop. Going to be using, what's the worst hand I want to value bet on the turn here? Do I want to bet queen 8, king 8? I want to check. No, I think I'm going to go with a block. I'm going to go half pot here, and I'm going to build around my like 9s. Yeah, like 9, 10, something like that. And I'm going to go with a half pot sizing. So I'm going to bet this hand actually often. I think all my 10s get to bet here a lot of the time. So I'm going to do that. Bottom left, we've picked up aces. We open it up. We're deep as well. 100 and something deep. 160. Ace 10, bottom middle. I'm just going to give up on the 4 diamond river. Nothing else to do here but give up. Can bluff like queen 10, king 10. Been 4-bet with the aces. Going to be going just under 3x here. 545, 60. Yeah, 560. And we lose to pocket 5s on the middle with a diamond. Seems well played. We're going to stay on the pocket aces in the hope that we get some action. Interesting, we do see 8-7 deuce. And in fact, this is 30 minutes. So let's make this the very last hand, shall we? Aces. You know what? With my suits, I'm going to bucket this one into a check. I think all aces bet. But I think bucketing ace club, ace spade into check is a good idea. 10 spades. Our bluffs on the button here are going to be hands like queen 9, king 9, ace jack, ace queen, some suited hands as well. I'm going to always bet. I'm just building around the top portion of my value here. I think I need to go 50 or 70 or 60. I'm going to go 60, which is what? 680? 660. Really interested about timing here as well. I'm going to set out my other tables in a second. King of spades. Dicey river. I think we have a shove here. We block all the flushes that out of position can have here. I guess there is a queen jack of spades, but like that just bets the turn a decent amount. Maybe doesn't call pre-flop. Pocket kings probably bets the turn pure. Maybe even 5 bets pre-flop. Yeah, I'm gonna shove this one in and let's hope we don't get snap called, I guess. All right, we do lose to pocket 8s, and that is a brutal end to the live sweat, but an authentic one. So I'm going to sit out, and then we'll come back to it. Okay, guys, well, that was a bit of a brutal end to the live sweat. I think I played that hand pretty well with aces. I think I like the 2/3 pot on the turn, or like the 60% pot on the turn into river shove. I think just on the spade specifically, there shouldn't be that many flushes for out of position. The queen jack folds, a jack 9 doesn't exist. It's like the ace 5, which maybe bets the turn. Ace queen, ace jack, I think they do bet the turn as well. Kings, does kings exist in the range? I'm not sure. Anyway, you guys are gonna have to let me know what you think about that one. There were some super interesting hands. I know the action was super thick and fast, so it may have been too quick, it may have been jumping around too much, but that is a authentic and live video, so there's nothing more I can do than just offer you that. It was 30 minutes of play, so I'm going to call it there, but if you guys enjoyed the video, please do consider dropping a sub. Also drop a comment if you have any questions about any of the hands that I played. But until next time, take care, and I will see you at the tables.